This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shaw.
We have arrived in Sector 112 and request targeting data.
Hello everyone, this is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard to Starship Enorma Prize for our first episode of Homeworld Remastered. Okay, so before we get into this, I kind of have a couple things that we need to talk about. First off, if you guys haven't heard, Gearbox has announced that Homeworld 3 is officially in development. And it's not going to be coming out anytime soon. It's going to be scheduled to release sometime in the fourth quarter of 2022. But this is amazing news because it's been a long time since we had a Homeworld release, not counting Homeworld Deserts at Karak. That's a kind of a prequel. It's not really a continuation of the entire series. But anyways, to celebrate, what I thought we would do is go through the entire Homeworld franchise and beat all of the Homeworld games in celebration that Homeworld 3 is finally coming out. So what I'd like to do is start with Homeworld 1, then go to Homeworld Cataclysm, then go to Homeworld 2. And I'm hoping to beat all of them before Homeworld 3 is released. And if I time this correctly, hopefully all this series will lead into Homeworld 3. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If we have enough time, we'll play Homeworld Deserts at Karak as well, but but my main goal is to get through the main Homeworld games. Deserts of Karak is a great game, but my knowledge when it comes to the Homeworld Desert climate, or the Karak climate, is kind of shaky, and I kind of just want to get the events of the original Homeworld and Homeworld 2 fresh in my mind, so I'm ready to experience Homeworld 3 in its full glory. But anyways, let's go ahead and we will start the game. And before we start, I want to kind of talk a little bit about the original Homeworld. For me, Homeworld was always one of my favorite games growing up. I still remember going to the Walmart gaming area, because that was really big back in the 90s and 2000s. And we seen Homeworld on the shelf, and we looked at it. It's like, man, this game looks pretty cool. And so we, my dad bought it. We took it home, installed it on the computer, and started playing it. And I instantly fell in love with it. As a kid, I wasn't too much into space because I just thought it was weird. Like, my dad is a big Star Trek fan, and back in the day, I'm just like, why are we watching this? They're talking about so many big words and going on these weird planets. I don't understand this. And Homeworld was the one that kind of bridged that gap, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're exploring and trying to figure out things. Like, okay, this is pretty cool. And so Homeworld, ever since then, Homeworld's always had a small little special place in my heart. So when Homeworld 3 was announced, I was just like, oh my god, I have been waiting so long for this announcement. I cannot wait for that game to come out. And you guys can definitely bet I'm going to buy the game as soon as it comes out and making a series for you guys about it. But anyways, back to Homeworld 1. I kind of want to talk a little bit about it because there's a little bit of Homeworld 1 that isn't really covered in this game, and this is before after the events of, or this is kind of during the events of the whole Homeworld Deserts at Karak, and then right before Homeworld 1's, right before we start Homeworld 1. So as you know, Karak is a desert planet, and it doesn't have the best living conditions ever. And the people of Karak were developed or separated into clans, and these clans were known as kifs. If I remember right, starting on the Karak, there was like eight or nine kifs, and each one of these kifs were specialized in a certain thing. Like the Soban kif were mercenaries. They went around on the planet for hire and completed tasks. They were very ruthless, but at the same time they were also very kind, because their motto was that they didn't never want to let anyone left behind, but they always went wherever the money was. So they were kind of like a nice bounty hunter clan. It's kind of like the easiest way I can describe it. But anyways, I'm kind of getting a little bit off subject. So when they were on Karak, the climate on Karak was getting worse and worse every single year. And it was to the point to where the only livable place were on the poles. So one of the kifs were gifted biologists. They biology was in their blood. They knew every single thing to know about biology. And one day they decided to do a test. So they took blood samples from kifs and like predators and different animals on the planet and ran a bunch of tests on it, and they found out something strange, that the Kushan people, they only had a handful of genetics that were in common with all the other people on Karak. So at this point, they kind of figured out that they were aliens. So instead of exploring the planet, they decided to try to find answers among the stars. So they developed space technology, and as their technology improved and they got further and further out of the atmosphere and closer to create an orbit, they noticed that there was a lot of space junk just floating around. So they decided to take some of it back and do some research on it to figure out what the heck is going on. Why is there debris circling our planet? So eventually what they ended up doing was building a satellite, and the satellite was designed to search nearby planets to figure out if there's any life forms around them. Well, the day that they were supposed to initialize that satellite, there was an engine malfunction on the satellite, causing the satellite to flip around and scan Karak. Well, when that happened, they found this massive hole signature in the middle of the desert, and it ended up being an ancient starship buried in the sand. And that whole journey is what Deserts of Karak is all about. But once they get there, they realize, one, there was a hyperdrive system that was built into the ship, and two, there was a guide stone that was inside the ship as well. And when they looked at the guide stone, it showed and etched a galactic map where one part showed where they were on Karak, and another one to another planet on the other side of the galaxy. And this planet was named Hegara. They brought that back. They brought the guide stone back to the Kifs to kind of figure out what the heck it was. And every single one of these Kifs, all 9 Kifs, even though they all speak different languages, Karak translated to home in every single language. So the Kushan people thought that this was kind of like a destiny thing. They're like, this must be where we have to be. This must be the reason why we're aliens. And that was the whole reason why all the Kifs kind of got together to build the Mothership and improve their industry and stuff to build the Mothership to try to get to that planet. So because of that, the Mothership was built and the events of Homeworld 1 began. And that's probably as much as I'm going to say, because that's as much as it told me in the strategy guide. Because when I was young, I didn't like to read. I actually hated to read. But for some reason, the Homeworld strategy guide was the only thing I liked to read. So So if anyone has ever read the strategy guide, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's way too much talking. This episode's probably just going to be a bunch of intro to the Homeworld 1 universe. But let's go ahead and get into the game and start this amazing Homeworld 1 journey. Actually, hang on, give me 1 second. Oh wait, never mind. I was going to come back here and adjust my colors, but I kind of realized I still have the same colors. But I want a brighter green. I want my base color to be a little bit... Ooh, that's way too bright. Let's make it that stripe color. Is that too bright? Hang on, that might be too bright. Let's bring that back a little bit. It's more yellow. Let's bring it back there. Okay, now let's get into the game.
"100 years ago, a satellite detected an object under the sands of the Great Desert. An expedition was sent. An ancient starship buried in the sand. Deep inside the ruin was a single stone that would change the course of our history forever. On the stone was etched a galactic map and a single word more ancient than the clans themselves. Hegara, our home. clans were united, and a massive colony ship was designed. Construction would take 60 years. It would demand new technologies, new industries, and new sacrifices. The greatest of these was made by the scientist Karen Sajet, who had herself permanently integrated into the colony ship as its living core. She is now Fleet Command. The promise of the Guide Stone united the entire population. Every mind became focused on the true origin of our people. Every effort on the construction of the ship that would seek it out among the stars.
Scaffold control standing by.
Look at her.
All stations green.
She's so green.
You're cleared to approach. You got it.
She's the greenest ship in the galaxy. I love her.
Scaffold decks A, B, C secure. Decks D and E secure. Scaffold secure. All systems green. Release crew standing by. What a beautiful sight.
You're telling me. God, I love this game. I don't know why I love this game so much. But this intro right now that you guys are hearing,
This is Fleet Command.
this
Reporting Mothership relaunch status.
is the intro that made me fall in love with the game.
Command online. Resourcing online. Construction online. Cryogenic subsections A through J online. K through S online. Scaffold control standby for alignment.
Mothership's ready to use her fusion drives for the first and only time in this entire campaign.
Alignment confirmed. Stand by release control.
Go, Mothership, go!
All caliper banks released.
The mothership has cleared the scaffold. We are away.
She's ready for her journey once again.
Stand by for command line testing.
I like how we start with 2 harvesters now. That's kind of weird.
Command line green. Initial fleet in position.
I'm not complaining. I only used 2 harvesters in this game, but it's kind of weird. Alright, guys.
Standing by.
Fleet intelligence going online. Our task is to analyze all sensor data and generate mission objectives. Before the hyperdrive test, several trials must be completed. Test construction by building the primary research ship.
You got it,
Resource
boss.
processing by harvesting the asteroids provided nearby.
I'm already on it.
Hyperspace module charging. 35% capacity and rising. The mothership will be ready for the hyperdrive test in 10 minutes.
Oh man, I miss these scouts. I mean, I know I play a lot of Homeworld mods, but I never really played the Homeworld campaign too much.
Stand by to begin combat trials. First, we will be monitoring formation performance.
I'm already
Target
ahead of you.
drones have been provided here. Assign a formation to your fighters and destroy the drones.
You got it, boss. I'm also gonna put these guys in group 1.
Group 1 designated.
Don't really need to do that, but I don't know. I'm used to doing that now on the Galaxy mods. Like, I feel weird if I don't have a group of ships that are in a group, even though I don't know why I never use them. Just I don't know. Maybe just the aesthetic appeal makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
New research available. Research ship complete.
Yay, the Homeworld 1 research ship is built.
The primary research ship has been constructed. The research division is online. Begin fighter chassis research immediately.
There it is. I don't know why, but in Homeworld 1, when you go to the research screen, this for the longest time always looked like a droid from like from Star Wars. Like here's his head and here's like his really big shoulders. It reminded me of like a battle droid that had like or super battle droid that had a battle droid head, or like a guy with a really long neck and like no shoulders. And just never, it took me forever to realize that that's actually the research ship. I don't know, I'm slow at things sometimes, guys. Okay, you guys go kill him.
Local resources exhausted, fleet. Moving on.
Wow, we're already done with resources. Kill them! Yeah, there you go, scouts. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, do we not have to worry about fuel? I don't think we have to. Formations still kind of work the well they're supposed to, but kind of not at the same time. I should have you guys in X. That's what I always have my fighters in. I don't know why I didn't use it that round.
Formation trial complete. Flight analysis shows a 22% increase in combat performance.
That's a big promotion, man.
Next trial will test the effectiveness of tactics. Stand by to begin tactics trial. Use aggressive or evasive tactics and engage the target drones here.
You got it, boss. Alright, so let's put you guys in X. Put you guys in aggressive. Aggressive is F1. Wait. Okay. Okay. So, before we continue, it's been quite some time since I played the actual campaign, like before the 2.1 patch that came out. I actually thought these here, this entire time, was part of the mods, like not Cataclysm, Complex, Titan Republic. I thought this was like the part that they put in, and everyone was just sharing that. I didn't know that was actually part of the base game. My bad. Okay, so that's good to know. So let's put you guys in aggressive. So what exactly are these? Evasive, neutral. So this is a combat stance. But what exactly is the top ones now? I'm confused. Oh well.
Strike group moving into position.
I'll just be confused for a while. You guys can help me out on all that stuff. I know this is kind of like a combat performance thing, but this must be like the actual tactic. Okay.
Group 1 under attack.
Strike group to battle.
Why would we be under attack? These are freaking target drones. They don't have weapons. Don't give me that crap, Karen Sajet. I know this is the first time you've actually been part of Fleet Command, but don't screw things up like that this early. Alright, and since I have played the Homeworld campaign before, I know what our next thing to do is. So we're going to build a salvage corvette. Because after we kill these, we have to do our salvage teams and see if we can capture one of these guys. Go, 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 Mr. Scouts.
Group 1 has defeated the enemy.
Hooray! Alright, you guys go ahead and dock. We don't really need you anymore. Where's my dock button?
Salvage corvette complete.
Docking with Mothership.
Tactics trial complete. The next trial will test the performance of the Salvage corvette. Build one and capture the target drone here.
Way ahead of you, boss. Alright, and we're already done harvesting.
You are clear to dock.
So our salvage corvette is
Roger.
built. Here he is. I always love these salvage corvette designs on Homeworld 1 because it's literally a light corvette. Actually, it's more of like a heavy corvette without its turrets and two gigantic magnets on it to make it look like it's just a giant magnetic ship.
Moving to destination. Resource collector awaiting instructions.
Yeah, you guys have already done your jobs. Don't worry too much about it. This is all we need to beat this the first mission. And here's the cryogenic trays. If you guys don't know, the
Roger.
I can go ahead and tell you to capture this. The I think it's just all the Kifs all together. They are, like I said, they are amazing biologists, so they know every single thing that possibly is to know about biology. And because of that, it actually physically attaches to it. There's no animation for the magnets. The Kushan, not Kushan, I guess the Kushan people now, since they're all united, developed cryogenic stasis and actually perfected it. All these guys are, I think this is 100,000 people. They're currently in cryogenic stasis in this ship.
Stand by for a hyperdrive test. Internal pressure doors will be sealed in 2 minutes. Abort systems standing by.
Hyperspace module fully charged. I am ready to initiate quantum wave generation on your mark. Good luck, everyone.
All sections have reported in. We are clear to proceed. Trigger the hyperspace drive at your discretion.
Alrighty. So like, all these are filled with 100,000 people currently in cryogenic stasis. And eventually they're going to be used to dock into the mothership, because the mothership, I believe, if I remember, it's down here in this area. This has a gigantic chamber that can hold all of these people and keep them in cryogenic stasis using the power of the fusion drives on the mothership. It's quite amazing how much technology actually went into this mothership. And one of the things I actually learned from reading the strategy guide, when they were initially designing the mothership, it was going to take 10,000 crew members to run all of the systems that were built into the mothership, everything it's capable of doing. The manufacturing systems, resource processing systems, the cryogenic systems, the sensor systems, every single thing that the mothership was capable of doing would take 10,000 people to run it. That's why they eventually, Karen Sajet, who was I think it was a biological mechanical engineer, something like that. It was both like mechanical and biological at the same time. Developed the system to integrate her brain into the mothership so that she can literally be fleet command and be the mothership. And that also allowed them to cut back on a lot of resources, because this command bridge here was going to be much bigger than it actually is because of that. But anyways, that's enough Homeworld gibberish for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and hope you guys can stick around to continue watching this campaign, because like I said, I'm really excited for Homeworld 3, and this is kind of my celebration campaign to celebrate the upcoming game. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you did. If you like what I do, consider subscribing, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. But until next time, this is Captain Soban signing out.
Attention fleet. Makan has found Valcora Gate. The coordinates are 1134489.
We'll send everything we've got, but be advised, we are a mining vessel. It would be best if we did not have to move directly into the main battle.